Hey y'all, it's Megan from Made for Mermaids, and today I'm sewing up the Everly cardigan top. You're going to need to cut two front pieces mirror images. I'm doing the banded version, so I've also cut two front bands. I cut one back piece on the fold and then one back band on the fold. You need to cut two sleeve pieces, whichever sleeve you're choosing. There are four to choose from. I'm doing the elastic bishop sleeve, so I also cut two pieces of elastic. And then I have two neckband pieces. If you're doing the youth version, you will only cut one neckband on the fold. And if you are doing functioning buttons, you do want to cut the interfacing piece as well. The first step is going to be to sew the front and back pieces together at the shoulder seams. So you're going to put your two front pieces right sides together with the back, and you're going to stitch them across the shoulders with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then you're going to open your front and back pieces, and we are going to attach our sleeve. So you're going to take your sleeve piece, and with right sides together, you're going to match the center of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. And then I like to clip the ends together and then ease the rest of the sleeve in place. And you're going to stitch your sleeve to the bodice with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And you're going to repeat and do the same thing on the other side with the other sleeve. Then after your sleeves are attached, it is time to sew the side seams. So with the right sides together, place the front and back pieces, aligning them at the raw edges and at the sleeve seam. I did go ahead and press the bottom of my sleeve a 1/2 inch toward the wrong side to make the next step easier of adding the elastic. But you are going to do this on both sides, clipping them together, and then you're going to sew from the sleeve hem all the way down to the bodice hem, and then repeat on the other side. Once you have those stitched together, you are going to repress that bottom 1/2 inch toward the wrong side, and I am going to edge stitch all along the 1/2 inch pressed edge, leaving a 2-inch opening so I can thread my elastic. Then, using a bodkin or a safety pin or your favorite thing to thread elastic, you will take your elastic piece and put it through the casing, and then you will overlap the ends of the elastic by 1/2 inch and zigzag back and forth to hold it in place. And then you will go back and you will finish stitching the casing close. So the little 1 to 2 inch opening that you left to thread the elastic, go ahead and edge stitch it back to close it, and then you will do the same thing on the other side with the other sleeve and piece of elastic. Now it's time to work on our bottom band. So you're going to lay your back band out right sides together, and you're going to take one front band and put it right sides together along one short end. And then on the other end, you will take your other front band piece and put it right sides together. And then you will stitch on each side with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, creating one long band piece. And then you are going to fold the band in half with wrong sides together and give it a nice press. Then with right sides together, you are going to match the center back band to the center back bodice, and then you will match the side seam of the band to the side seam of the bodice, and then each edge of the band to the edge of the bodice, and then you will pin the band in place all along the bottom of the cardigan. And then you're going to stitch the band to the cardigan with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then you can give your band a nice press. Next, we're going to work on our neckband. So you're going to put the two neckband pieces right sides together, and you're going to stitch them at one short end, creating a center back seam. So you have one long neckband piece. And then you're going to take one end of your neckband and you're going to put it right sides together, and you are going to stitch that bottom edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance so the bottom edge of the cardigan is finished. And then we're doing the same thing with the other side of the neckband, folding it in half right sides together and stitching it. Then you can press the neckband right side out so you can see that bottom edge is all finished, and we're going to start pinning the neckband to the cardigan. So with right sides together, we're going to match that center back seam to the center back cardigan. And then I like to match the bottom edge of the neckband to the bottom edge of the cardigan. And you're going to use the marked points on your neckband and on the bodice to clip those together, and that's where you will stretch the neckband portion of the cardigan. All along the front, where you'll be adding the buttons, you are not going to stretch the neckband, you are only going to stretch it on the back marked points on your neckband and your bodice piece. Once you have it all pinned in place, you are going to take it to your machine and you are going to stitch the neckband to the cardigan with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then you can take it to your ironing board and give the band a nice press. The final step is going to be to either add functioning buttons with buttonholes, or you could add snaps, or I'm just doing a faux placket here with non-functioning buttons. So I'm overlapping the neckband pieces, making sure that the bottom is aligned, and I will just stitch the two neckbands together. And then I'm using my expanding sewing gauge here to evenly space my buttons, and I will just stitch them on, and then everything is complete once you have your buttons and buttonholes stitched on. This Everly top is so quick and so cute. You do have other options if you want to see the hemmed version sewn up. I will link it down below. As always, if you have questions, you can leave them and I'll try to answer. If you sew this up, please share with us in our Facebook group or on Instagram at Made for Mermaids, #Everly pattern, #Made for Mermaids patterns.